What I remember is we were talking on the phone a few times about meeting. I just remember your accent. I remember talking to this guy and I'm like, I have got to meet this person. I don't know what he's got going on, but this accent is something else that I just want to meet him.
I get that a lot. I don't get it, but anyway.
So I came and met you and I was in your office in the Littlefield building.
Yes.
And you had all your clients, like binders and stuff, right? So I could see names and I was like, I work with them. And so like we had clients in common and we just hit it off from there.
Yeah. So I think I connected just basically over the fact that we had similar clients. And so I didn't know at that time how unique that was.
Yeah.
That there weren't that many people that worked in this area, this home care space. But yes, we became friends and connected over that. The fact that we had this stuff in common and everything. And so it just sort of grew from there.
Welcome to the Home Care Experience with T&A, where industry veterans Troy Brooks and Amy Taylor share the stories, insights, and laughter that define the world of home care and hospice. In this episode, Amy and Troy take us back to where it all began. How they met, how their careers crossed paths, and how decades of experience turned into a partnership built on trust, friendship, and a shared passion for helping others. So settle in and enjoy this heartfelt conversation on the Home Care Experience with T&A.
Welcome back to the Home Care Experience with T&A. I'm Amy Taylor and
Troy Brooks.
Troy Brooks with me. And so we've just done a couple episodes on how Troy got into home care. We did another one on how I got into home care. And now we want to tie it all together with how we came together. And also we talked about it, like a lot of people really probably don't realize how much we work together on similar projects and similar clients and same clients sometimes. So we're going to kind of dive into some of that and I will start us off. Okay. So I don't remember exact dates by any means, or even the years, and you're better at that. So I joined TAC and moved here and joined TAC in 2002. And so it was sometime after that I had met Mark Kennedy. Mm-hmm. Mark Kennedy introduced me to Bunny right then and there. We were at a conference.
Bunny McFarland with Healthcare Consulting.
Yep, Bunny McFarland. She was my idol, still is. She had a very serious talk with me about my shoe selection for conferences. And she said, you're going to outgrow that, because I'd be in some cute, like high heel stiletto kind of things. She's like, that ain't going to last.
See, that's what I'm talking about, these nurses and practicality. I mean, they're very practical.
Yes. And now I wear joggers to conferences and I even got some new sneakers to wear.
Okay.
So yeah, how far we've come. So anyways, I was introduced to Bunny and Healthcare Consulting, and they fed me a lot of business. But did you work for Mark then?
Okay. So I left DHS in like at the end of May of 2004, and went to work for Mark like in that June, that beginning of the month. And so I actually, the first month, I think I would go up each and stay in, I was supposed to be in Austin. So, but each month, that month, I think I went up for, I don't know how many weeks, stay the whole week in Dallas, just, we all got to know each other and stuff like that. And, oddly enough, that first week I was up there, first week in private practice, I met Yara Vandermint with Therapy 2000.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still a client.
Yeah.
So it's sort of funny. But I remember they came into the office with something, and and it's so rare now that you have, I might have a Zoom call with somebody, but I have so many clients that I've never even met face to face. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
So, nobody comes into the office anymore. I'd started to work for Mark. So must have been, my guess is probably that June or July, because I think TAC would have had its annual meeting in August, which was in Austin that year. So it's probably that June or July that we met.
Okay. What I remember is we were talking on the phone a few times about meeting. I just remember your accent. I remember talking to this guy and I'm like, I have got to meet this person. I don't know what he's got going on, but this accent is something else. I just want to meet him.
I get that a lot. I don't get it, but anyway.
So I was like, that was a big deal. And I remember, I feel like I was wearing a little plaid mini skirt, like plaid, like wool kind of mini skirt. And, which I thought was funny that I remember that. I don't know. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. But anyways, I came and met you and I was in your office in the Littlefield building.
Yes.
And you had all your clients, like binders and stuff, right? So I could see names, and I was like, I work with them. And so like we had common clients in common, and we just hit it off from there.
Yeah.
And that was right when I had gone 100% on my own after leaving Brett. So that's when that all happened.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. You left Brett working on your own, and it was in 2004, right?
July of 2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it must have been right around then. Yeah, it must have been July. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just the funny thing is at that time, so I think I connected just basically over the fact that we had similar clients, and so I didn't know at that time how unique that was.
Yeah.
That there weren't that many people that worked in this area. And so some people refer to it as this space, this home care space. And so I always, when I think about space, I always think about leases and stuff like that, rentals. But I didn't realize how unique it was. But yes, we became friends and connected over that, the fact that we had this stuff in common and everything. And so it just sort of grew from there.
And I mean, we've developed such a network of friends. Like I have 2 circles of friends. I mean, kind of 3. I've got my home care friends and I got my accounting friends. And then the third would be back home friends, right? I've got some, and so Lester, the new husband, old boyfriend, like is that?
You just came full circle.
I know. It's wild. It's so wild. It still pinched me. It feels very surreal.
Well, your mama didn't talk trash about him, so I figured he's all right. That was my gauge. It's like, what's Debbie going to say?
Yeah. So just for the record, Troy calls my mom and talks to her when I'm not around.
She's entertaining, so yes.
I wish I had pulled up a photo that my brother sent me yesterday. So he sends me a photo and he says, Mom still thinks she's funny. And it's the top of his grill, just an old barbecue grill. She had found a skull to like a little gopher or a squirrel or something. And it's got its 2 little front teeth and this skull, and it's sitting on top of the barbecue grill.
Oh,
and I said, she is still crazy as hell. She is. My mom's a character. So
when you said gopher, I had to stop myself and remember, okay, we're talking about Oklahoma, where in the Southeast, gopher usually means the terrapin. That's how we refer to the terrapin. Yeah, they dig holes and but it's a turtle.
Oh, it's a turtle.
Yeah, that's how that is. There's
Okay.
it's probably actually the terrapin is probably what it's supposed to be called, but we don't.
Yeah, we have gophers, and
gophers are little critters.
Yeah, little moles.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a squirrel because my mom thinks squirrels are little bastards. Which
wait, Miss Animal Lover has an animal she doesn't like.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. You have to understand.
This
my
turtle
mom,
rescue lady.
She rescues everything. Remember, so we discussed. I like cars. I like nice cars. So I'm a big Lexus girl, and Mom went and got damn oil changed for me, my car, took my Lexus, and then they ended up selling her a Lexus. So see, that's how we get into those. So anyway, she's a Lexus. She had a little RX. Drove in the middle of the night from Austin to go to Dallas to Aunt Rita's house, who lives out in the country, and get this baby goat that wasn't doing well. Put it in my Lexus, her Lexus, but I paid for it, and drove it back home and raised that damn thing in Circle C here in the middle of Austin in the backyard. But yes, she doesn't like these squirrels because they eat her peaches off the peach trees.
Okay, well.
So she calls them little bastards. And so Robert and I had gotten her a high-powered BB gun. And it was all like scoped in. Anyway, so the squirrels are her nemesis. So, yeah. So anyways, total tangent there. But that just shows how close we are. And my friend, my good friend Diane, who is a bookkeeper accountant, but never in home care, but just a good friend. Yeah. Y'all are friends from like a party at my house or something.
I don't know. I've known Diane. We asked me like, how do you know Diane? I'm like, I really don't know. It's like, just through the years, I mean, you're good friends with her and we're good friends. I guess that's how I met her more than once. I met her husband, the Les Miles lookalike. Because I met him when Les Miles was head coach at LSU, and he does look like
he looks a lot like Les Miles,
So,
and he's huge in college sports.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, so getting back to what we were talking about, though. So I'm trying to remember, I remember we had clients in common.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember, the first one that we worked on together. I can't. I don't.
Man, I don't know.
Normally, sometimes it'll be something.
A1 Plus, Miss Shirley?
Yeah, that'd be one. The crazy thing is normally what it would be like. We've never had a cost report appeal together or anything like that. Usually it's something where I'm working on something and realize that the client needs your help, or you're working on something and realize the client needs my help. Yeah. And so it's sort of like we're working on the same issue, but totally different spheres.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got Miss Shirley, we got Merlita.
Yes.
So Merlita was my Filipino mama over in Houston. Miss Shirley was my black mama up in Dallas. They're both passed now. Those are the two.
Well, the funny thing is, Merlita. Delante, the princess, little Miss Diva princess. Anyway, then you had, but the funny thing is, that first meeting we talked, we realized that Merlita and Merlita's a mom, Meryl's a daughter, that I represented Merlita, you represented Meryl. Anyway, I still represent Meryl. Yeah. In fact, I talk to her from time to time. I haven't seen her since Merlita died, but anyway, so I was really close to Merlita too.
I love Merlita. And then the two boys, her sons, were taking over her agency. Yeah. And I was kind of their crutch for a while.
Pong and Butch.
Yep. And I had to exit because I was going very, very remote, virtual services, and she really wanted and needed somebody to come in every month, in person. And I
think I could see that with her. That's what I was talking about earlier. Why did I stay in home care? I connected with people. Yeah. And that's the thing about, it's like just what I'm in with Therapy 2000 with Yara Vanderbilt. It's like the first week I was in private practice, I met him and I'm still doing work for them. Then also with Merlita and Meryl is I'm still doing work for Meryl. I'm really close to them. I mean, Merlita used to bring me a Christmas present from the Philippines every year. It's just stuff like that. Just I still have
a fan that she brought me from the Philippines. Yep.
But yeah, it's like you
and I don't keep stuff. I kept that though.
Well, anyway, it's just interesting. It's there are so many clients that I'm they're almost like family. And it's really, that's one of the reasons I've stayed in this space.
Yes. I have clients that I've cried with. I've, and just thinking about next phases of life, I do want to retire at some point. Yeah. And one of my biggest concerns is, who's going to take care of my clients? I'm trying to develop that within the firm so they can take over. But I've got one that's outside of so we do home care, hospice, home health, whether it's skilled or unskilled, pediatrics. So all the home care, but then we also have nursing homes, which was a weird little way that came. But it's because when we get in this space, which I'm one of those that uses that word, we tend to learn of other experts in the space and we refer to one another. And the nursing homes, Clayton came to me because he split with his partner and they were at another firm and that firm didn't want to keep both partners. They felt like it was conflict of interest. And so Clayton came, and so they referred him to me and it's been a great relationship. And I know that went back to earlier than 2010. I don't know exactly what year, but I think it was around then. And then he brought his other friend, Aaron Terrell, and Aaron, it's one of my favorite clients. He was blowing me up last night. We had some errors and some real basic accounts payable stuff. But see, we're so close. I will edit what I really said. But I said, this is effing embarrassing. Let me find out what's going on. And we got to the bottom of it. It's some AI trying to be human. So we learned we got to check some of our AI tools need to be verified a little bit closer. But we're super close. He came to our, we had a big 20th anniversary party and we invited everybody, but he was one of the clients came. We had another client come out of Houston and it was just awkward, right? Because we did a boat day. Okay. And then it's like, how do I go get in a bikini in front of my clients? But after a couple beers, didn't matter. I was fine. I was like, yeah, come on, get in. The water's good. So
Yeah, I think if people keep listening to these podcasts, I think they're going to hear a theme about you. But anyway, but that is.
But you know what else? We had very parallel paths in going out on our own,
Yeah.
getting into you were in the industry longer than I was.
Actually, probably
He's
about the same amount of
older.
time. Because I started at DHS in '99, and so when did you start recruiting?
Well, 97.
Yeah, but anyway,
Okay.
but I started in private practice in 2004. So
Yeah. And also your law school. I just had to get a
Oh, yeah.
regular degree. You had to go all the way through.
But as far as like on my own, I've worked for firms, but my practice is all my own.
Yeah.
In fact, most places I've been, I'm sort of an island. Nobody else really knows what to do with me because
yeah.
he just says that, and which is great because people stay out of my business.
Yeah. But we talked about things like how do we provide the best value and how do we connect with these people and how do we market? And so lawyers have really strict marketing rules.
Yeah.
We don't. So I can advertise and market as much as I want to. And one thing I want people to know is when you have a good professional in your corner. So let's say you work with Troy, but you don't work with me. And Troy's like your only home care guy. Troy knows people. I know people.
Yeah.
And so be sure to tap into the people that you already work with for referrals to other people for all sorts of stuff.
That is one of the things that I have. Okay. This is something we have talked about before. And the people who hear this, hopefully somebody will hear that needs it. But most of the people hearing it won't need it. But people coming into the state of Texas, when they want to open in be in home health, hospice of any kind, any of the home care space, if you've never done business in Texas before, you need to get somebody from Texas to help you sort it out because it's just different. I don't know. I can't explain to you the reason why it's different. It's just different. Part of my theory is it's just so big that it can do its own thing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to bring in outside, the state itself doesn't have to bring in outside consultants or anything like to help it develop anything. So it develops its own stuff, its own programs and everything. And so, it has its own expertise. And so, which is a smaller state might need to bring someone in from another state to help develop things. Anyway, So that's been my theory. But we have people a lot of times coming in from out of state, buying a home health agency, buying into the home care space, and it failing miserably. One of the things that I have that has helped is when some of those people come in, if they're connected with me, you or somebody else in that big network of the support, what do you call
I don't know.
Consulting business, the ancillary business to the actually delivering home care operations, you tap into a network.
Yeah.
And so just like all of, and it's extremely helpful because these are people who are uniquely suited. And I say that on purpose, uniquely suited to help you because their expertise is in the home care space. And it has, we had a mutual client that we didn't work together on, but we both know, who opened a hospice, started out with some folks who he thought knew what they were doing. They knew how to do some of it, and then wound up owing a bunch of money because of a hospice cap. Then brings in another group. Well, I think they caused just as much trouble as the first group because, again, had another hospice. I think there was a hospice cap on that one. The first set, I can't remember. The hospice cap hit that into the second group. Finally, he had tapped into the right people. But by then, he knew you, he knew me. And so
I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about.
Yeah, we don't want to mention names.
Oh, well, I know.
But anyway, it's nothing slanderous or anything. But and he's not sorted. I mean, we know some sort of people, like the people you were talking about before with that. And I know a lot more about, I don't know a lot more, but I know about that little situation where somebody's going to prison. But, and that was federal OIG, by the way. Okay. And so anyway, but it took him a while. He went through a lot of anguish until he tapped into the right group. I wish there was some way to help people find that network before they get into the home care space. I don't know how to do that. I'm just grateful that there are some people who do, because it saves them a whole bunch of turmoil.
So there are people that do it. Here's a wild small world story. So I remember so I didn't want to be a CPA. I didn't want to have my own business, my own office, all that stuff. So I get to the point, I had my first employee in the house, and then we outgrew it. So we needed a real phone system and a real server. So I buy that office.
Oh, it was Alicia. I mean, it's not like an employee, like some stranger. So.
Well, that was Alicia. Yeah. So, I mean, it was Alicia in my office, but after that, I was like, I don't want other people in my office. That's weird.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not like she was a stranger coming into your house or anything like that.
Oh, and now it's full circle, because now I've sold the office, and now Michelle is back working in my house with me.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Okay. But so my mortgage broker, my mortgage guy on the office was Russ Kringle.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
What's he doing? I thought that he's not in.
Exactly.
He's doing that now as opposed to.
When I bought my office.
Oh.
So he worked for Lehman Brothers. Well, I'll fill y'all in. He worked for Lehman Brothers. That's where I was getting my mortgage. If you're a history buff, my mortgage was finalized in September of 2008, right at the mortgage crisis. I was in at 2% down. They came back and said, no, we need 20% down. I said, dude, your 20% is sitting in my garage. I had bought all these custom cabinets to be installed.
Wow.
It was crazy, but I got in, made it happen. So anyways, the mortgage crisis, so he has to pivot and do something else. I don't know him. I don't make friends with him, but that name is very distinct, Russ Kringle.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, 3 or 4 or 5 years, and I get a call from Russ Kringle. Hey, Amy, I was referred to you by my friend John Boaz. We were college buddies, college roommates. And, John Boaz was a longtime client. And if I'm not mistaken, that actually goes back to Craig days. I feel like Craig did work for him, because I know he did. I swear, because we go way back.
An Oklahoma connection?
No, I don't know. He's in Texas. So
okay.
So I'm not sure. It might have just been the accounting piece, right? Maybe. Because Craig could do accounting down here.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and he said, my buddy owns a home care agency. And so I think that's what I'm going to get into. He says, can I come take you to lunch and just pick your brains? I was like, sure. So we go to lunch and we're there. And I'm like, I know you. I know your name. And then we piece it together that he was my mortgage lender or broker or whatever. So, but what he did is what you're talking about. He's coming in from totally outside, and he wants to come in and buy an agency and develop it and get into home care. And so he sat me down, and we probably sat for 3 or 4 hours and just talked through what I knew. And then I think he did that with maybe an attorney. I don't know who, but he did it with a couple different folks, like a clinical consultant. But my point is, like, he got some professionals and said, I need to understand this. I think so many outsiders see it as a cash cow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what I've heard is about people buying into the business. You have private equity a lot.
Yep.
I've heard different stories. The stories that probably accentuate what you're talking about is I've known of people buying into the business as an investment, seeing it as, it generates a lot of cash, a lot of revenue, but not realizing what all goes into it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then not realizing that, that payment is not automatic. It's pretty quick. I mean, with Medicare and Medicaid, it's pretty quick. Much more so than like with private insurance, which you might have to fight for sometimes.
Yeah.
But with Medicare and Medicaid, that it's but it's still at the same time, it's not automatic. It's not like you bill one day and you collect the next or anything like that. It's, not like an ATM. So, but I've seen people, I've talked to clients who have grown businesses and then sold to either private equity or someone, and they notice we've talked about this, having people come in who have sold before and what the experience was like and then what happened afterwards. What I've seen are situations where they sit there, they no longer have any control, and they watch whoever now owns it dismantling things that the person dismantling, the dismantler doesn't quite understand what they're screwing with. And then there's so many subtle things. Like I remember one client said that we spend a lot of time going through, and when we decide who to put in a home, we give a lot of thought to it. But there's a lot of debate about it. And we just don't send people out. And so developing a team to work together and then figuring out which teams go where. She goes, we spend a lot of time doing that. She goes, the people who came in and bought, this is one of the ones who sold. This people who come in and bought, they don't do that. And now they're wondering why their census is going down.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, there's
and just the compliance side. This is not your typical business.
that is one of the that is where you have federal compliance, and then you just have the way that Texas deals with it.
Yeah.
It is, it's just a different animal. And I really wish I knew a better way to express it to people, but I haven't figured out how to explain it other than it's just different.
I've told people when they're wanting to get in or they're new, I'm like, man, just tap into the resources. Like, go to the TAC website, A, be a member, and then B, go to the vendors. Tap into those people. They are there to support you. And I remember a client, and she ended up not really making it after all, but she was like, I feel so good because I have like a bunch of professionals around me. Yeah, we can tell you what to do, but you got to go do it kind of thing. But they are out there. They are out there. And I can't tell you how many people find me and we do a discovery call, just, that initial call. We go through everything and they're like, I didn't even know this existed. I'm like, okay, marketing team, they know now. That's Josh, marketing team over there. So it's kind of like I said, another topic we can cover is trying to get some people that have firsthand experience with family in hospice, because we need to drive more hospice awareness because public doesn't understand like when to call in hospice.
That's always a struggle. Even with physicians, primary care physicians, they don't understand. I don't know if they don't understand it. I think it's a combination of they don't understand it. And also like with saying oncology, they don't want to give up.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to admit, okay, now I'm going to go I'm going to give up curative care and just go to palliative care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of.
So we got to just keep kind of driving that awareness of there are specialists in this field.
Oh,
and like when I did that symposium with Thomas Rose, he was really harping on the very last session was liquidity events. So selling your agency. And he said, listen, he harped on get professionals in our space, get an attorney in our space. And I said, dude, your friend that's an attorney, even if he's a contracts attorney, is not going to get it right in home care.
Well, it's like my friend Cynthia, she does criminal defense. She goes, you don't want, when your kid has a DWI, you don't want like your daughter, you don't want the lawyer who handled your daughter's car wreck to handle the DWI. They're two different things entirely. And theoretically, every lawyer you hire is minimally competent, so they should be able to. I mean, there's some things you take on, they're so specialized that... and
it's not that they can't figure it out. They can figure it out, but are you going to be the one to pay for all that time for them to figure it out? And then like figure it out through trial and error? And the same thing with like a change of ownership. Freaking, unless you've done many of those, hire somebody else. Sharon Newton, the queen.
That's one of the things about I laugh, but I've had to be real careful because I've actually, the amount that it used to cost to do a change of ownership with me has actually gone down because it's so much easier for me now. And
because you've done so many.
Yes, and it just takes so much a fraction of the time.
And it's just those little check boxes, and because if it gets kicked out, then it's we start over and just.
Well, I mean, just there's so many, and people get frustrated because every decision you make in something like that creates a whole. Every step you take. There are decisions to make, which way to go, and each way you go, then there are a whole nother range of options that open up, and it sometimes
it's kind of like a tax return.
Yeah, people sometimes want just like when they come to me talking about a change of ownership or buying or selling, mergers and acquisitions. They want like an encapsulated answer, and it's not. You can't really give it. It's so open.
Yeah, and that was part of it. Like our discussion, it's like I said, we can talk in very generalities on acquisition, but these contracts can be done in so many different ways. There's not, and now you can't even say, okay, stock purchase looks like this, asset purchase looks like that, because don't get me quoting tax law, but there's some new tax law that it can be one, but characterized as the
Yeah.
other, which kind of gets the best of both worlds for both sides of the table or something. I don't know. Tax is not my strong suit. That's not what I do. I don't even do my own tax
See, now
returns.
that's a good example of for once, I wouldn't handle, first you have to be qualified, I think, to handle a felony in district court or criminal court or criminal defense. But I wouldn't even handle try to handle most misdemeanors because that's a lot. Just like you're talking about taxes, you're a CPA. Presumption. There's a presumption that you're minimally qualified. Well, yeah, you could figure it out.
Yeah,
but it's just one of those things.
Am I going to optimize it? Probably not. And just for those listening, I do have a tax guy. I got a couple tax guys at the office.
Yes, y'all do tax. Y'all do taxes.
Yeah, we do tax, and then if it's very complicated, we still call Paul.
Yeah.
Better call Saul. Better call Paul. Paul's my old tax guy.
Yeah. Well, I know. That's what I guess we need to have something running at the screen this is who they're talking about. This is who they're talking about. Anyway, well, that's how we met.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about what makes an ideal client.
I love that.
How to get the most out of your lawyer and your CPA.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right. So we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Home Care Experience with T&A. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found it insightful. You can find more episodes of the Home Care Experience wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We'd love it if you could share this podcast with your network and/or leave us a review. It really helps us reach more people who are passionate about home care and hospice. Visit thehomecareexperience.com for links and resources in the show notes. Until next time, take care and keep making a difference in the lives of those you serve.